Vibha Patlarkar, Managing Director and CEO with HDFC Life Insurance, joins us now. And what we would be discussing today is the impact of Standard Life offer for sale on the overall ownership and the shareholding pattern. Vibha, good morning, and thank you for joining us. Just walk us through the regulatory requirements which were at play and which in a sense forced you to come up with an OFS, because markets thought that okay, this is the promoter holding or the promoter group holding which is coming down, which is not true.
Right, the SEBI requirement is that post-listing within a period of 3 years, a company has to reach a minimum public shareholding of 25%. And before the OFS opened yesterday, we were at 19.3%. So we had to cover just short of 6%, so about 5.7%. And this is very much in line with the requirements by regulations for us to get to the 25%.
Now that we've got a clarification from you on the regulatory requirement, allow me to ask you on the business environment. The data what we've got off late for the insurance industry is the following, that the term insurance industry is doing very well, but ULIP is where the pain is back, and the pain is here to stay. What is your understanding?
So ULIPs have been particularly susceptible and very closely correlated to market movements. We have always said that with HDFC Life we will follow and continue to follow a balanced product mix, which is why you will see that our ULIP proportion has always been around 60% or less overall at a company level. And so we have a whole slew of other products which are in the non-participating segment, which are largely both term, like you mentioned, and interest rate guaranteed products, including interest rate savings products and especially annuities and retirement solutions. So we would like to believe that largely that impact has been fairly muted on HDFC Life. But as an industry as a whole, it is possible that some headwinds are being faced by players who have traditionally had a large exposure to unit-linked products.
Okay, some would argue, Vibha, that 60% is not large, but it is still sizable. That is still heart of your business. And given that where market conditions are and what market volatility could do to projected returns and what market volatility has done to last 1 year return, could that business start slowing down further?
So actually when you unravel our business, while 60% overall at a company level might look large, but if you were to look at the different channels that we have, so our agency channel has a ULIP dependence of 25%. Our direct channels and online channels similarly have a very low level of dependence, sub 30-40%. So it is really the mix that depends. Bancassurance typically has had larger ULIP exposure, which is what takes it up to the 60%. But all our proprietary channels, which are the channels which are our own and over which we do exercise a lot of control in terms of what we sell, there the ULIP proportion, like I said, ranges lower end 25%, upper end 40%.
What are some of the challenges or risks that you see going forward? A lot has been talked about also about the disruptions to distribution channels currently and how those are also causing some issues or challenges for the sector. Just take us through your view on the same.
I do believe that it's more in terms of the opportunities that are there rather than disruption per se. I think disruptions are a given in any industry, and one's business model has to be strong enough to innovate, to be able to find new opportunities, and which is exactly why we have been market leaders in finding those opportunities. We were the first ones to look at the pension segment, to grow the children's care segment. We moved on to our credit life segment. We moved on to products such as cancer care, cardiac care. We then moved on to a completely new segment, which is on the interest rate guaranteed products such as our deferred annuity in the annuity space. And now we are training our guns even more on interest rate protection products like the recently launched one just a couple of days back. So one needs to find opportunities in the midst of turbulence, because that I think any industry one will find it hard to be insulated against.
One scheme has changed the way how health insurance has been done. Government has also rolled out lot of basic bottom of the pyramid insurance schemes. What could be the impact of that? Is that more market share, more market penetration, and then the conversions will happen to private players?
Absolutely. There is a crying need in India to have health protection. Health protection is even more of a crying need than perhaps I would like to say even life protection. Out of every 100 rupees, 63 rupees completely comes out of an individual's pocket, and if you exclude urban middle class, this number, as you can imagine, is much higher, upwards of 80%. And so what government is doing is absolutely right. However, what we would like as a life insurance sector is for us to now again be allowed to sell indemnity, health indemnity products, because we used to be allowed to sell that. We are no longer allowed to for the past few years, but we believe that, exactly like you said, this is really an untapped, and even the bottom of the pyramid and all the way up are woefully underinsured. So our plea is that we should be allowed, and all of us should be allowed to sell health insurance product as long as we are within the regulatory framework. And typically an individual would have 4 health incidents in his or her life which will set back the family by 1 or 2 generations, as against dying once. So it becomes very, very acute that there is health penetration, and that goes up.
Can you throw more light on the way how you see the sector growing, because the peak growth rates for the health, for the term insurance business is behind us, the space has got more competitive. Where do you think your mixed model of ULIP plus term will fit in?
I would expect term to continue to trend upwards. I think what we need to measure is number of lives covered or the sum assured covered, because if you look at just one indicator, which is APE, which is just your top line premium income weighted premium income, so weighted 10% for single premium, that number will be lower when a company focuses on term insurance, because your term insurance premium is typically a third, if not a fourth, of your savings product. And so that is not really the right way, which is how currently industry is looking at this number and saying that degrowth has happened. But if you look at number of policies so number of lives covered, it is very robust growth of upwards of 20%, and that will continue to happen. So it's good that a lot of companies are now following what we had started and embarked upon maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and even slightly longer, right at the start. And it's very important that we move up the ladder. If you look at the penetrations in India versus China, it is woefully inadequate. Typically, the senior companies in China sell about 50% of term-like products, pure protection products, and India is just the beginning. We are the market leaders in selling protection, and we are at an APE of 16.6%. So again, long runway, but let us not look at it just in terms of APE growth.
How much of your repeat or existing business comes from new customers, Vibha, or the business of policy? Just if you could break that up for us, and the percentage growth you're seeing when it comes to new customers versus existing customers.
So right now the new customers that come in, it is mostly new customers, because if I were to give you another data point, out of our entire customer base, on average our customers have 1.2 policies per customer. So really the runway is huge even for us to do farming as against hunting. Right now we are in a hunting mode of new customers, so primarily new customers, but the data point that I gave you just shows that we can also train our guns very effectively without annoying the customer, but going back to him sensibly based on analytics to say, would you like to buy another policy, because now we think you have moved up either in your career, or you have your family situation wherein you have kids, or now we believe that you require pension. So the runway is large, so large chunk. But right now it is largely new customer acquisition. Another data point I want to give you is on our credit life business. 8.5% of the policies that the new policies that we have sold have come from upselling to our Credit Protect customers. So those who have completed and repaid their loans to NBFCs or banks, we have been able to upsell, and that percentage is steadily trending upwards, again on the back of sensible analytics and use of the data that we ourselves have as a close to a 20-year-old company. So to sum up, I think currently largely on new customers, but with an eye on our back book as well.
To understand the steps which you are planning to take on the distribution and the reach. I mean, HDFC Bank was growing and your reach was growing, but the bank is now reaching a ceiling in terms of the number of branches they would grow. Online business has migrated very well for HDFC Bank, which means the connect for customer would be missing. So what is your plan to increase your distribution reach, especially on ground?
So the distribution possibilities really are endless, and I'll give you a couple of data points. You mentioned HDFC Bank, but when you look at our proprietary channels itself, our proprietary channels as a percentage have grown and continue to grow. So as a percentage of our total business, it's grown now to 28%. It used to be around 20%, moved up to 24%, now 28%. So that just means that the channels over which we have control, so our agency channel, our direct channel, online is growing up upwards of 40%. So still a long runway in terms of what we can do to reach out to the masses. If you just take a leaf of, say, an IRCTC kind of a portal, which again the average Indian used to buy railway tickets and today is buying almost entirely through this portal, means that people will start buying insurance products that will become a pull product and are intuitive. And the millennials certainly will only buy through online and digital modes, and that's why we are by a mile the market leader. Even coming back to bancassurance channel, with HDFC Bank, it is clearly our largest distributor and we continue to grow. But when you also look at the new tie-ups, we now, as of 31st of December, we had 246 distribution relationships, including new ecosystems, and new ecosystems such as the travel aggregators like an Ola or a Flipkart or a Jet Airways or a Paytm. So these are new relationships that we have managed to forge with simple products that we can sell through, and I think if the product regulations that are currently in the pipeline, and we are hoping to hear back soon from the regulator, it appears that it would be supportive for us to give these simple products through the journeys through the new ecosystem. Also, when we look at the public sector bank space, we've had recent wins. We had mentioned earlier about a tie-up, an exclusive tie-up with Vijaya Bank, with the Dena Bank, and so on. So, you know, those kinds of wins will continue to happen, and you know, we will continue to go down the road of broad basing our distribution. And distribution does come, like I mentioned to you, in several forms, as against just a traditional mindset of bancassurance or an agency channel. And that's where we believe that we are the insurance company of choice when a company looks at who do we sign up as a distribution partner. Also, open architecture is but inevitable, and there will be more banks that will open up, and we will be called to the table at least to bid as part of the RFP.
I think is capturing it. I mean, now you are like almost right up there in terms of the market cap of the insurance sector. Before we wrap it up, it's the first time we are interacting live on this forum. It's a pleasure interacting with you, and my compliment to your new CMO, your CMO, for coming out with that brilliant HDFC Life campaign. I love those ads, especially when I see those ads on ET Now. They feel very nice.
Vibha, thanks so much for joining us and taking us through all the latest developments there, and at HDFC Life, what we can look forward to going forward as well.